Last time on this game, last time on this game, we had the unfortunate event of dying to suicidals. Now what I could do... we'll try it one more time. If the suicidals become a problem, I could put in the auto life. Man, the music... Oh, I just find the music so good, man. It just makes me cry every time when people didn't appreciate many of his games. Anyway, I need to get... was this gate shut? No, it's open. Yeah, I found it interesting. This one literally destroyed the stage. Well, the other two just float Neil somehow.
Hello. This is the Resource Recovery Unit. Now activating defense mode.
Also, I need to get the sound white.
Over and over.
Yeah. Over and over. The theme of recycle. You know, actually, we're going to have a little conversation about that later on, about things happening over and over. It is a recurring theme in all his games, that there seems to always be some kind of cycle. A cycle of violence, a cycle of life. And while I'm not going to go into what the cycle is in Automata, I will tell you there is a cycle. But what is it? Well, we'll have to keep playing for me to tell it.
That language again.
This reads God box.
God, huh? What are these machines doing talking about gods?
Slowly, Nines is getting pissed off. I still do have to say, I find it odd he just auto-believes the message talking about the black box being made from machine cores. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Would you just automatically trust a document inside a facility that you don't know any real connection to your organization? I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of odd to me. But it is true, sadly, for Nines. It is true. No black boxes all from cores.
Pod, why did the machines attack Pascal's village? Aren't they all the same?
Unknown.
Well, aren't you helpful?
Proposal. Unit A2 should gather further data on the current state of machine life.
Hello, and thank you for choosing Tower System Services.
Huh?
We've got some very exciting news for everyone today. There's only one lock left to remove from the tower stuff. And in order to retain for your faithful patrons, whoever dismantles the final substance will earn a special prize. Good luck!
The hell was that?
Large structural unit of machine life form origin activated to the east.
A large what now? What the heck is going on around here?
Unknown.
Well, let's go check out this large structural unit.
Doesn't even comment on him. Now let's see. Now, did I have to go to the circus area, or... Yeah, that's the circus area, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So I need to find... I could go... got hovering pretty low there, aren't you? But yeah, you know, I really do see that there could have been something in 76 if they hadn't put microtransactions, grind, slow-ass gameplay, bad way of actually getting a story while playing with friends. Like, there was a lot more design things that needed put into 76, and it was just all done wrong. Honestly, I'll be glad when we get to New Vegas.
Alert. Excessive combat activity will put unacceptable strain on your body.
Shut up!
Negative. This support unit is assigned to Yorha Unit 9S. As such, being concerned for said unit's well-being is a requirement.
Whatever.
Go to you. I don't like to talk. Don't think so, bro. No big laser on my face. Ooh, that one dropped cool. Yoink. Oh, the death. Well, how the hell did you beat the witch at the lake? I believe I just used a shield that protected against magic, I believe? I believe that's what I did. I need to get some more of my videos scheduled. I need to get more of my videos scheduled. I don't want to repair, I just want to retrieve. I don't need one of these things becoming suicidal. Because like I said, at this point in the game, because of the virus, they're all very strong odds they will be very murderous. But, New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas. I said that when I started 76. One of the reasons I decided to do 76 was because I thought it would make interesting topics, perhaps, while experiencing New Vegas' storyline, and hopefully make it better. gun was fullest. But yeah, if you, like I said last time when we died, you don't get the retrieve body system. I know some people thought that was kind of odd in design because, you know, for like half the game you can recover your body and stuff, but then all of a sudden it's just auto game over. And I think the thing a lot of people miss in that regards is it actually makes sense in a plot sense. Because, you know, they have backup bodies they go to because the bunker backs up their memories and stuff. But now the bunker doesn't exist anymore. They don't have the privilege or even the capability of doing that anymore. So, you know, it avoids the... You know, like how early spoiler alert for Final Fantasy VII, you know, Ares dies. And, you know, people are like, oh, why don't you throw a Phoenix down? That doesn't make any sense. And that's kind of what it is, you know. If it kept going, it wouldn't make sense because they don't have that system in place anymore. See, I just knew Vegas is awesome. You didn't need to make it better. Yes, I have always had that criticism thrown at me that New Vegas is apparently so good that it is just ridiculous to need it. And, you know, I kinda get that now. But I'm kinda all the way in the long haul. So... On the upside, aside from the very end of the game, from my understanding, it's not, the main story isn't going to necessarily be a huge problem. It's just the Scorch Queen that's going to be the bigger problem. Okay, now we gotta be careful of the part where the suicide bombers came out. Oh, no, speaking of which. Did not mean to do that. Oh no! Wait, they don't have Phoenix Downs anymore? Well, I'm just saying that it makes sense why Nier Automata would get rid of the go fetch your body system, because the bunker doesn't exist anymore. It's dead. It's gone. It blew up. It got took over by the virus. Yep. Screw you and your suicide. And I gotta give Yoko Taro, he's really good at, for the most part, being consistent in most ways like that. It helps really build the world a lot more. You know, you always hear a lot of Western games like, oh, we build up the world so much, holy crap, how realistic we do it, and it's like, blah. And it was the next part we died, if I remember quickly, so we want to be careful now. Come on, blow up. Okay, so we don't want to get close. hear one. They gave me this time, little fuckles. Take that. No, what I'm saying is like, you know, a lot of people always like when Ares dies, or Ares, whatever. When she dies, you know, people are like, oh, it's Twilight Phoenix now, she'll be just fine, because you know, you die like all the damn time in the game. Fight. It's free elevator. But yeah, I mean, you see, that's a way how the game's story and gameplay mechanics break how it works. You revive people all. Oh, I remember this part. Yikes.
Model 210. Operator? Oh no. So this operator model is...
Affirmative. Operator 210 volunteered to undergo Type B equipment transition during previous descent. Sent to front lines as Unit 21B. Recorded as missing in action 4 hours later.
No.
On the way down. The body's actually holding me down. Oh no. No. Oh shit. The lasers are changing.
Operator!
Coordinate data. Location specified.
No, 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 get it! Ah!
Please keep. Affirmation. Spice. Shit.
Oh no. Tight squeeze. Nope, nope. Ah!
Please. Kill.
Eh.
A2.
2B told me. She told me she wanted you to become a good person.
You... Don't you dare talk to me about 2B!
Hey, whenever brother. Yeah, you know, way long ago.
Where'd he go?
Analysis. Yorha Unit 9S is still alive. Query. Why would Unit A2 be concerned with the status of Unit 9S after turning on Yorha?
Shut up.
Well, let's say, well, about to launch something out of it. That's right, it's Big Brother! And they're coming in with buckets! Sorry, big brother. But what happened to Nines? Oh dear. Could it be our own, our ego, our self-conscience? So you might be like, so Pod 42 is becoming self-aware. Like, what's up with that?
Physical check complete. Memory check complete. Maintenance mode complete. Yorha Unit 9S. Activate. Good morning, 9S.
Am I...
Analysis. The enemy structural unit collapsed during battle. Unit 9S suffered damage from the fall and was placed in emergency suspend mode. Fall location was deemed too dangerous, thus said unit was transported to current location. All system checks and reactivation complete.
Operator.
Operator model 210 is deceased. Black box signal not found.
Oh. Situation report.
Tower access authentication key acquired. The required number of authentication keys have been acquired. The tower is now open for investigation.
Good.
Now let's see if it was hack this one. Guess I have to get with them. I don't know. I know that's how you activate this freaking super boss thing. Maybe it's like that one enemy where you have to actually... I need to find an enemy I can... that I can inherit. Maybe you have to interact with it with an actual machine life form. No, won't let me take him either. There don't appear to be any I can take. Honestly, I don't remember. I know you have to hack it with 9S to get to start. So, let's see. So now we can actually go to the tower. Why do I have a red glow down here? Gathering keepsakes? Aha.
Man, there's blood everywhere. Whatever happened must have happened right here. Talk about a bad way to go.
Well, let's mosey on along. Another sad, sad day. What is that hole? I love how the game just constantly reminds you about fishing, though. Remember, this is how you fish. We're in the damn sewer pod. I don't think fishing is going to be very useful right now. Before we do that, also what's the... No, that's what it's doing. What is the closest? I want to save before we do that. Because the tower, slight spoiler alert, is essentially the end of the story. the main story. Like I said, we'll be able to do a lot of the side quest stuff still after. So we're getting ready to go for the long haul here. So I guess we're going to be finishing Nier Automata today then. Unless things go terribly wrong. On the upside, the tower is a very cool section. It's where a lot of stuff starts getting explained. Because believe me, I'm sure if you've never played Nier or any Yoko Taro games, you've probably been extremely confused at just probably about everything. By the way, Dan, didn't you say you picked up a copy of Nier Automata on that weird day where they had all those games for sale for like $5 at your Walmart? Have you started it yet? I'm pretty sure you told me you bought it. Nier Automata. Such a good game. But what you gotta do is you gotta hack the nodes now. Or maybe just talk to them. Oh, now you hack them. Well, good, you should start playing it. Start it up. Good stuff. Trade value 15. Oh, that was a terrible mistake, man. Should have bought 2 copies if you're gonna keep one. That was a terrible mistake there, bro. I mean, I don't blame you doing some flipping, but should have bought one for yourself, bro. That's a shame. You should keep it on your way, though, man. Even if you watch it all here, it's still a game worth playing. Yeah, let me hack. Oh, I still can't get there. Okay, so if you're a big fan of the grand ending for Nier 1, you're probably gonna hear a lot of nostalgia here.
Alert. Enemy caution level rising. Cause is most likely concerned over Unit 9S gaining access to tower.
Out of my way! Damn it! They won't stop coming!
Alert. Allied signal detected.
Allies? Wait, you?
9S, we've been expecting you. The 2 of us will take things from here. You need to open the door to the tower.
Devila? Albala? What are you doing here?
Remember your promise?
What are you talking about?
Come on, 9S. Hack in while you can.
None of this makes any sense!
We'll explain everything once we're inside.
Yeah, Devlin and Pulpa's song from Neil. They're helping us trying to get in the tower. Now, there is a joke ending here I could get right now, but I don't want to ruin the moment, man. But, yeah, basically, you don't do this, and, yeah, you get the joke ending. Well, we'll do that in the future. I don't want to ruin the moment. Okay, I do have to destroy those.
What's this barrier?
Analysis. It is part of a closed defensive system.
Well, how do I break it down?
Hypothesis. Unit 9S could permit its self-consciousness data to lose control. The resulting energy surge has an acceptable probability of temporarily paralyzing the barrier.
That's almost as bad as not going in at all!
What happened?
It's the barrier.
Popola!
No, don't! You can't do anything! The wall's got a self-closing
Enough!
algorithm!
Devil and I, we have to atone for our sins no matter what!
But if you do that, your circuits will...
Devil! Right.
Devila!
I hope you don't regret this.
Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about. Now it's time to start unraveling the insanity of the game. Yes. So if you ever played Neil, yeah, it's time for visual novel moment. And this will tell a little bit about Devla and Popola. At least the versions we get to know. So I'll probably spend most of this time just talking about. So if you remember, Devla and Popola talked about the models being discontinued because something terrible happened. But what was it that was terrible that happened? I don't remember. Did you watch me do Neo, Dan? I don't know. If you've ever watched Neo, that egos, emotions, souls, the Project Gestalt. But yeah, Popola and Devla units were made to watch over areas that were doing the Project Gestalt. But if you played Neo, Popola and Devla, the units there, they kind of screwed up. It's not necessarily all on them, but when it comes down to it, of what remained after the end of Project Gestalt, the blame basically fell on them, regardless. You see, to understand, and I'm gonna try not to ruin all the spies. Did not watch Neo? Okay, I don't want to ruin all the spies, but The actions that the party took upon Neo caused a great, horrible reaction to the world that even they did not understand. Because to really understand it, you have to know the beginning, which actually ironically takes place in the novel. That takes place in the between of the opening, where you play as the soul, and before you control the body. Now, if I remember quickly, replicants or the body, and Gestals were the soul. So it's between, the novel takes between the Gestal and the replica. But the Devia and the Popular units during Neo, they were taking orders, but they messed up Project Gestal that caused a great disaster. Which, we'll get more into that as we climb the tower. But this little novel thing is talking about these specific pairs of Devila and Popola. As they mentioned that many of them were discontinued because they were blamed for what happened in Neo. The reaction that happened by killing the Shadow Lord. The chain reaction that gravely affected many things. But these two basically had to suffer a lot of hatred in their existence from then. Because as they said to Nines when we were in the base, that they basically were blamed for a lot of things. But that be the sin they're talking about. Even though they aren't that exact pair, they wanted to wipe the quote-unquote sin they committed. Whether, personally, I wouldn't necessarily blame them, because they were taking orders from the Shadow Lord, who, if you read the novel, was essentially in charge of the Project Gestal at that point. Anyone else didn't really exist anymore. Like, the scientists and things that had to do with Project Gestal didn't exist anymore. Like, pretty much the Shadow Lord was the only real thing in charge, so they were taking orders. So it's not necessary that they, like, you know, bit their master or something. Now, the novel sections in Automata I feel kind of lacking compared to Neo. I know that was probably one of the biggest things people criticized in the original Neo, was the big visual novel DOS-style adventure game you had to go through, which was essentially a boss in its own. Figuring out the puzzles and everything. Personally, I think the implications of that section of the game were really cool, but I could understand why people go into, like, action game and then all of a sudden it just turns into this dialogue-heavy little puzzle game. It's only for one section, but I kind of feel like that criticism is why the few visual novel little sections that are in this or just mostly tell and very little choice. Now, relapses. So, what the relapse was, if I remember correctly... Yeah. So, the relapse had to do with what happens to the replicants in the Gestalls. And that's accurate right there. The replicants didn't understand what Gestalls were. So, they are indeed accurate. Replicants never understood anything about Project Gestalt. But relapses happened because either something happened to the Gestalt, the soul, or something happened to the replica, the body. The Black Swall took another victim. Now, if you played Nier, the Black Swall is what infects Neo's daughter at the beginning of the game after the giant leap in time between the Gestalt and the replica. You play the majority of the game as the replica. The very beginning opening where you're in the city, you play as the Gestalt. And I'll go more about the Gestalt and replicas. I don't want to spoil a part of Nier Automata's story until a little later, so I'm trying not to go too much into them besides saying that the Gestalt is a soul and the replica is a body. You can come to your own conclusions accordingly. But yeah, the relapse causes the Black Swirl and it causes death. Very, very painful death. Now, this is taking place after the events of Nier, so the replicants and the Gestalt are all suffering because of what happened at the end of Nier. Now, if you remember correctly, we learned that the black boxes were made from machine cores, though. One of the things I don't feel the game ever really talks about is... See, Popola and Devla obviously existed before the alien invasion of Earth. So they weren't made with cores. They were actual androids. So it's kind of ironic how things turned out. If only it was. Soon, though, things are going bad. But at this point, you might be like, what was the actual purpose of Project Gestalt, though? What's it relate to Automata? Well, if you remember way back at the beginning of the game, I mentioned something. That there was something suspicious about the opening of the game, that if you know a lot about Nier, that something was very off. And you know, if you start putting some of the dots together, you might get a small idea of what was terribly wrong. Of course, it doesn't take that much work. After all, remember what the commander said to Nines when he hacked the server. There were no humans on the moon. It's a lie. It is a straight out lie. Humans have been dead. So thus, what's terribly wrong is 2B wasn't in the first game. Well, 2B was an android made out of alien cores. It's a bit of a shame. There's a lot more to learn about 2B, and oh boy, are we going to be learning about it. But humanity's been dead, so Project Gestalt, what does Project Gestalt equal? It equals the fate of humanity. See, to understand what Project Gestalt is, you really gotta know a lot about what the overarching thing here, so probably for the 5 millionth time, I didn't mean for that to speed up, probably for the 5 millionth time to go over all this crap again. So, in one of the branching paths of Drakengard 1, the evil goddess thing that spews man-eating babies and Kaim and Angela get pulled through a dimensional portal thing. Now, Angela and Kaim think they got pulled into the realm of the gods. We, the player, know they got pulled into fucking modern-day Tokyo. And you have that insanely hard music boss fight. But the end result of that boss fight, as you see if you either played or watched mine or someone else's play of Drakengard's crazy final ending that used to be considered a joke ending, the goddess, the remains of Angela and the goddess became two things in the world. The goddess' remains started a plague called White Syndrome, which would begin the novel, the opening of Nier and then the novel, where it was destroying humanity. It was eating up everyone. Yep, it collapsed. From Tokyo. Well, I wouldn't say it was necessarily them. I'd blame the Shadow Lord all the same myself. But the White Syndrome was killing people. Yeah, the original Gestalt, which was the Shadow Lord, which is why humanity became lost. So, the White Syndrome was fucking up humanity. So, the last, to condense as much of the novel into as little as possible. I mean, there's crap things to go into about the novel, like how Grimoire and that was created, the flying magical books and shit. Like the novel goes into that, and I'm not gonna go into that too much, but lots of experiments and shit happen in the novel. Essentially, they find out that if they separate the soul from the body, that White Syndrome can't affect you. So the last ditch effort was to separate everyone's souls and bodies and let the White Syndrome basically, go away. And then everyone would be fused back with their body. The Gestalt was the soul, and the body was the replica. But if you remember earlier in this visual novel segment we were just doing, it said the replicas became self-aware. Replicas started gaining their own memories, whether based off their soul's memories or just their own memories. Now, what were Gestalts? Gestalts were the shades, the weird black-yellow things. those weren't monsters. That was people's souls. And the Shadow Lord was ironically the main character's own soul. He was the original Gestalt, and the original Gestalt was essentially the hive mind of keeping the Gestalts from going berserk. You, the player with Neo, killing the original Gestalt, your soul, caused a collapse of that system. And that essentially ended Project Gestalt. Everyone and everything, every replica and every Gestalt was doomed. The replicas would die from the Black Swallow, and the Gestalts would die from the replicas dying. All of humanity was dead because of the end of Neo. So, yeah, you as the player, you caused the apocalypse completely over the How many apocalypses can happen? You have evil goddess thing blows up, the apocalypse happens. Everyone separates those souls, the apocalypse happens. You destroy the thing keeping souls together, the apocalypse happens. Androids fight off an alien invasion, the apocalypse happens. And there's still shit to go into, you. Like, how many times can the apocalypse happen on this damn planet? Oh, but the fuck up shit, it's just begun. Automata has its own screwed up shit for its own story, so while this goes a lot more into Neo's fucked up shit, there's still a lot of twists between 2B and what the androids, the machines, and what ultimately is going on between the two. See, ironically, thinking about it as someone who's replaying this after beating it, Devla and Popla are essentially trying to break a chain that's happening. But again, that's something we'll be going into as we climb the tower. But yeah, as you can see, the remains of what looked over Gestalt and everything, wasn't good. But yeah, basically all the twin models were blamed for the end of humanity. I mean, they were listening to the original Gestalt, the Shadow Lord, so, I mean, again, I would blame the Shadow Lord just as much. Personally, what I thought was an interesting an interesting angle for the original Neo there was, since the Shadow Lord is essentially the main character themselves, basically the two are doing the exact same thing throughout the story. They're trying to save their daughter. The Gestalt Neo is trying to save his daughter's Gestalt, while the replica Neo is trying to save his replica daughter, who are both suffering the ironic other's pain. One father has to lose their daughter to save the other. It's really a big tragedy. Ironically, though, as much as it pains me, if replica Neo never allowed his daughter to fuse with the Gestalt version of his daughter, essentially they would have died. Because the replica was suffering the Black Swallow. So, essentially they would have both died. So, as much as it would have destroyed his version of his daughter's consciousness, the sad truth is, for them to survive in any way, they would have needed the Gestalt, so... But that's what they meant earlier, that the replicas don't understand it, because they really don't know. They don't know anything about Project Gestalt or anything. Now, if you know anything about Nier, Nier's companions were Emil and Kaine in Grimoire Weiss. But Emil is arguably the last surviving human in the world. Because he was human originally. He was originally human and he was experimented on. And then during the events of Nier, he took his sister's body, which was the skeleton body he has, or at least his head now, or her head, or... Well, he lost the body in the end of Nier, so... But, he's immortal in his form now, so... Emil's existed for probably, like, 8,000 years or something ridiculous at this point. Because I think there's, like, a almost 2,000 year leap jump between the end of the Drakengard, where the goddess died and threw the world into suffering, to where the replica Nier comes in. Like, I think that's like a 2,000 jump there, and then between the end of Nier to Automata, I think it's like a 5,000 leap in time. Like, Emil is a... And that's not counting... Like... It's just kind of ridiculous how long Emil has existed, really. Honestly, he is, in my opinion, the most tragic character in this series, because he's... How does he stay so happy? Like, I would have fell to fucking despair at this point. Like, I don't know how he stays. Like, I would have probably went insane or something at this point. I mean, you gotta think, and Emil doesn't know about Project Gestalt either. Emil was just as clueless as the replicas, so he also was not aware of what happened. So, you know, as the world crumbled and he watched his friends die and everything, you know, even Emil doesn't know exactly what happened. So, imagine being, like, I'm not really sure what Emil's original age was before his agelessness stopped, his aging stopped, his agelessness started. But, I mean, what, he's maybe like 14 years old. Could you imagine being like a 14-year-old boy, experiment on, your sister experiment on, living for bazillions of years, having to kill your sister to get magic powers to save your friends, do all this epic fighting shit, and then you watch the world that you tried to fight for collapse into what it is now, well, it's just dead. Now, you might ask, why doesn't Emil ever mention people being dead to the androids? That is a fair criticism I've heard before. I think it's more of a case that Emil and the androids have never really conveyed information between each other. Because obviously Emil knows a lot of people are gone. Or maybe he just doesn't care at this point, I don't know. Maybe he's putting on a strong Vash the Stampede. Putting on a brave face in a sad life. But going into Emil's side story in the game covers his feelings on that. So when I started doing the streaming for Nier Automata, I did not know what happens in Emil's side quests. I wanted to try and do those blind, but sadly, over the time, those did get spoiled, so I do know some more about that, so, but I'm not going to get into that now. We are going to do that stuff, though. I've been wanting to do that stuff. That was supposed to be one of the main reasons of doing this. Man, I forgot how long this was. We went into all kinds of action hacking, and then we're just all in this mushy story stuff. Is this our punishment? And I believe that be the end.
That is all that remains from their personal record during the era in which they were referred to as administrators.
I see.
Query: why do the androids Devila and Popola seem to prefer death over surviving alone? There was a very high probability that at least one could have escaped.
I hope you never have to understand.
Affirmative.
Yeah, the ironic thing
Why
is,
does this tower possess an entrance at all? All material transport takes place via aerial vehicles. It is irrational for an infiltration route to be so easily accessible. Hypothesis: entrance is a trap.
interest is a trap. Well, thanks, game. Anyway, we will save. I think this is the only time you can save during the tower, I think. So,